Let me tell you a story, a real story. I once worked with a young analyst who was very smart and very dedicated. In 1 year, she learned Excel, Power BI, and Python. On paper, that looks impressive. But when we sat down to solve a real business problem, she struggled. Not because she didn't know tools, but because she didn't understand the logic underneath them, what drives them. So every time she switched tools, she was not building forward, she was resetting. And this is where the frustration begins because you are putting in effort, but the results are not compounding. Let me give you another example. I was once invited by a training firm to help solve a problem with a group of their data analytics graduates. They had just completed their training, but many of them were complaining that they did not truly understand what they had learned. And this is more common than people will admit. They had memorized the formulas, the syntaxes, and queries, but their major question was simple and honest. How do we actually apply this in real situations, in real businesses, in solving problems? That was their confusion. So my first approach was not to teach more tools. It was to conduct a needs assessment to understand where they were and more importantly, what they lacked. So over the next month, I worked closely with them and something began to change. The confusion started to clear, the confidence started to build, and the difference was not because they learned new tools. It was because they finally understood application. They began to see how problems are structured, how to think before touching a tool, and how to translate business questions into analytical steps. And once that clicked, everything they had previously learned started to make sense. Here's the insight I want you to hold on to. Improvement without structure is movement without progress. You can be busy, you can be learning, you can be improving, but if what you are improving does not connect, it does not accumulate, right? It does not accumulate. And that is why tools alone can trap you because tools change. That is their nature. They will evolve, they will update, and they will be replaced. So if your value is tied to what is constantly changing, then your career will constantly feel unstable. And this is the hidden fatigue most people cannot explain. It is not that learning is hard, it is that you are always starting again. And no matter how strong you are, starting over repeatedly will eventually wear you down.